Welcome to the instruction video for the DBR1. The first thing we would like to talk about is the three different types of brackets. We have a starter bracket, a main bracket, and a specific bracket that is used at the brood curtains. This is the starter bracket. This is the first bracket that is installed in a house. It has a stop on it and also has a piece of angle welded to the top of the bracket. This is so when the first rail is inserted, the prongs have something to latch onto. Then it can be bolted down. The mounting plate for the starter bracket is also a little different. It has 3 holes in it depending on what type of header that you have at the start of the house. If you have no header, use the first hole. A 1x4, use the second hole, and a 2x4, use the third hole. This is a main bracket. If you will notice, one end of the bracket is longer than the other. This end will go away from the starter bracket, going toward the end of the house. This particular bracket is only used at the brood curtains. The mounting plate is screwed directly into the header at the brood curtains. Then the bracket is simply hung on to the mounting plate. By being able to take this bracket on and off, it makes raising and lowering the brood curtains very easy. The first step in the installation process is securing the bracket to the mounting plate. This is done with the bolt and a lock nut. Keeping in mind, when securing the bolt into the lock nut, only tighten it down enough so that it is held by the nylon insert. This will allow the unit not only to self-level, but it will give you play to the left and to the right. After all brackets have been assembled, it's now time to start installing the brackets into the house. The first bracket that is installed into the house is the starter bracket. Notice it has one flat side, so it can go all the way up against the side of the house. After installing the starter bracket in the house, continue with the main brackets. If you'll notice in our installation, we're able to use the green ceiling straps as a guide to keep the unit straight. If you do not have these straps, or if these straps are not straight, it may be necessary to run a string from the front of the house to the back of the house. Continue installing the main brackets until you come to a brood curtain. When you come to a brood curtain, install the mounting plate directly into the header. Once this is complete, take the specialized bracket, the one that has a hook it directly into that mounting plate. By doing this, it allows this bracket to be taken on and off with ease, and it will allow the brood curtain to be raised and lowered. Continue installing brackets throughout the rest of the house. After all the brackets have been installed, begin installing the rail system. Go to the front of the house, take one 10-foot piece of rail system with the prongs facing the starter bracket. The other end of this first rail will most likely need to be cut. Cut this rail so that it rests approximately 1 inch past the center of the bracket it's resting on. Once this rail has been cut, reinstall it and tighten it down to the starter bracket. Once the first rail is cut and in place, the other rails should not need to be cut. On the end of each rail are 2 prongs, and on the bottom is a bolt so they can be tightened down. When the rails are slid over the bracket, the 2 prongs go over the previous rail, holding it in place, and both are tightened down with the bolt. Working from the back of a truck or a trailer, it's very easy to install the 10-foot pieces of rail. Continue installing the rail until you come to a brood curtain. Depending on the size of the house and the position of the brood curtain, it may be necessary to put a 5-foot piece of rail before the brood curtain. Do this so a 10-foot piece of rail will rest directly centered upon the brood curtain. Once a full 10-foot piece of railing has been put underneath the brood curtain, the next piece of rail is a specialty piece. Notice that it does not have any prongs on it. When this piece is slid over the bracket and then tightened down, since it does not have any prongs, it will allow the previous rail to be raised. This is the rail that goes underneath the brood curtain. To take this rail out, simply unscrew the bolt, pick the rail up, take it off, take the specialty bracket that has a hook on it, take it off of the mounting plate, and the brood curtain can be lowered with ease. After the rail system has been installed in the house, simply place the catch basket on the rail system. This basket is very lightweight. Simply pick it up and place it on top of the rail and it's ready to be used. This basket can hold up to 250 pounds and the height of the basket can be raised and lowered. During installation, two common problems will happen. The trusses will not be on exactly 4 or 5 foot centers. This will cause the rails to become either too long or to become too short. If they become too long, simply cut off the rail until it fits. And if it is too short, a small piece of rail can be inserted in between two long pieces of railing.